Good morning, Chief.
Good morning, Clay.
Welcome to Third and Long, the sports podcast out of the collective that is Third Thoughts Podcast.
That's right, coming to you live.
Coming to you live.
Soccer and hockey free as always.
Coming to you live, not on a Wednesday morning, and not at 9.
On a Thursday morning.
At 9:45.
The rounded off 9:45.
Right. Because it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, why not?
Why not? Exactly. Speaking of that, though, I'm going to speak to that. So, as listeners of Third and Long know, we are avid college football fans.
Yes.
And even more avid Florida State fans.
Mm-hmm.
Since college football has all but ended, save for the Senior Bowl on the 27th.
Yes.
That you have to watch NFL Network to even see, which is lame.
Isn't it strange that a college football game is on the NFL Network?
Yeah. Like, why couldn't they just put it on ESPN like everything else?
They don't want it because nobody watches it.
Well, if it was on ESPN, I would watch it. Honestly.
I probably still wouldn't.
Anyway, so other than that, the college football season is all but finished. So
I don't even think you can rush the punter in that game.
Yeah, they can't. Do they even wear pads?
Yeah, it's not two-hand touch yet.
Okay. So being that is the case, we have found ourselves in a bit of a news drought for sports. Would you say that's accurate, Chief?
Yes.
Bit of a drought. So,
but we are going to talk about a very interesting thing, so don't tune out today.
No, we have some stuff for you today.
Because we may actually it may move out of a drought into a saturating rain after we define some things, whether they can be talked about on this podcast or not.
Perhaps. Okay, so this is a bit of a mystery episode, but we are going to talk about the Super Bowl a little bit. That's so gross. Chief's going to eat that cinnamon fry. And
it's a honey bun.
It's not a honey bun. It's a cinnamon fry. You know that. That's what the box says.
Box is labeled wrong.
No, it's not. It has cinnamon in the middle. You don't see it.
Maybe.
But it does.
Okay.
Anyway, we're going to talk about Super Bowl. We're going to talk about, I know Chief has some NBA news, and then maybe not. He loves that.
Let me go ahead and get the NBA news out of the way.
You can go ahead and squash it.
LeBron broke the 30,000-point barrier.
Yes.
And the Cavs still stink.
Yes. And that's it. That's it for NBA this week. No, so here's what we're going to do with Third and Long. So we are going to make it more event-based rather than schedule-based, if that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, I'm going to explain it right now.
That means watch social media.
Yeah. So basically, if there's a lot of sports news on a particular week, whether that's during the upcoming Winter Olympics, March Madness, NFL Draft, NBA Finals,
World Series of Poker,
whatever. If it's interesting and it's
bowling,
there's something we need to talk about, and there's a lot going on in the sports world, we're going to have a show. And we'll announce it so you can catch the show. But as of now, Third and Long will no longer be a weekly show. It's just going to be as the news provides good content for us to discuss that we're interested. The problem is you don't get a good show as a listener if we're not interested in what's going on. And it's just a tough time since we're kind of in the slump after college football. Yeah, of course, Super Bowl is exciting. I love Winter Olympics.
No, it's not.
I think it is.
The Super Bowl's only exciting if you live in the Northeast. I
think it's exciting, regardless. It's just a big event. You know how I am. I like big events. So I think Winter Olympics are exciting, and there are plenty of them. But
you know why I like the Super Bowl?
Tell me.
Because my mother-in-law and father-in-law always have people over for the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And they have wings, and they have chili, and they have cheese dip, and it's just a great smorgasbord of sports food.
Yeah, no, see, it's fun. It's an event. I mean, I'm totally down. Yeah, so that's what's going to happen to Third and Long. So be looking for the announcements on the socials at Third Podcast. And if you're just absolutely confused and devastated at this change, you can send an email to...
You should have gone to the Patreon.
thirdpodcast@gmail.com. Yeah, you should have given us some incentive. No, we enjoy this show. It's just that with the particular content that comes out in news sources, it's difficult to make it a great show without college football. I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
But speaking of college football, I do have one thing to talk about. So I was going to talk about this last week, but we ended up having to cancel due to the inclement weather.
Mm-hmm.
But last week something tragic happened. Earlier this month, Tyler Helinski, the Washington State backup quarterback, did commit suicide.
Yes.
And terrible situation. Definitely praying for his family and for Washington State. And
absolutely,
yeah, just a horrible. Anytime there's a suicide, it's tragic. But especially when it's a young kid, getting into his football career and pretty good quarterback. I mean, it's just a bright future, and then it's all gone.
Right.
Definitely extra tragic, but something kind of cool. Luke Falk, who's the senior quarterback at Washington State, is playing in the Senior Bowl, and he's going to wear Tyler's number. He's going to wear number 3.
That's.
Yeah, I mean, I
may watch it because of that.
It's a nice, a nice thing. It's like that's my teammate, that's my friend, and I'm gonna do it for his family. I'm gonna wear number 3 and play in the Senior Bowl, play one more game in his honor. I think
that's something that sports does that not a lot of other things. This whole idea of wearing the number out of respect, as a tribute, something that happens in sports that you don't see, in other arenas of life.
Yeah.
There's a lot about sports that are good for our country, that are good for a culture.
Sure.
There's
Absolutely.
some bad things too, but there's a lot of good things that come out of sports. And when sports were still really sports and they taught important life lessons, that principle was even stronger back when we used to keep score. And, there used to be winners and losers of Little League games.
Yep.
It taught you the important lesson that things are not going to come easy, and I'm not always going to win. It's an important lesson.
Oh, yeah.
And, we don't teach those lessons to our kids, so they grow up to be spoiled, entitled, liberal, people who expect everything to be given to them with no effort. Sports need to become sports again at the community Little League level. Again, keep score. If you ever came to one of my daughter's games, they did not keep score on the scoreboard, but after every basket, I shouted out the score of the game. So everyone was aware what the score was.
My God.
Because it's important for those kids to know.
Well, to me, it's kind of like,
I mean, okay.
Why play if you're not going to keep score?
Right. Here's the thing about sports that shaped my character, that I think built me into the man that I am, is that it was those pressure situations that I learned to operate. And I think you work hand in hand with me, and I think it's in those pressure situations that I work the best today.
Yeah.
Because I trained myself in those situations. When there's no score, and you've got the ball with 10 seconds left, and you're down by 1, but you don't know you're down by 1, there's no pressure.
Right.
You're not learning those lessons. Right. So when you're thrown into those things in the real world, yeah, that's right. I don't think the sports court is necessarily the real world, but it simulates the real world, the pressure and the what it is to overcome, what it is to succeed. We don't have those simulations, so when that pressure comes in the real world, people fold because they haven't had that training.
Yeah.
I learned at a very young age that I want the ball in my hands in those pressure situations.
Yeah.
I want to be standing at the plate with 2 outs, the bottom of the last inning with runners on base, and I have to deliver a hit, or we lose or we win. Mm-hmm. I wanted the ball in my hands. I wanted to shoot the bat. I wanted to throw the pass. I wanted to be the one that controlled the outcome of the game, and I learned important life lessons through that.
Absolutely. I think, it's kind of like if we, if we stopped grading tests and papers,
No, I think that's a good idea.
You think so?
I think that sports are more important to dictate who someone will become, keeping score, than some arbitrary, ambiguous grade that tries to predict someone's intellect based on a grade.
I think the principle though is that it is pressure though. It pushes you to do well.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's the
From
idea.
From that standpoint, yeah.
Yeah. Is education kind of whacked up? Yeah.
Broken? Yes, it's broken.
Yeah, definitely. But the nuances are broken. But I think the idea behind that is this is going to affect you later. So
we still have an education system that's training people for jobs that only existed 60 years ago.
Yeah. No,
we're still training people for the assembly line.
Yeah, the content is not up to par, I don't think. But I think without some form of pressure to push you.
Right.
I think a lot of people fall by the wayside without the pressure, which is what we see now when people move into, like you were just saying, move into the real world and haven't learned those lessons, and then people become lazy and complacent. And
listen, I'm going to say this with all the love in my heart for the particular high school. I'm not going to say the name of the high school; it'd be embarrassing to them. We saw a young man yesterday. Mm-hmm. Waited on us while we were eating all-you-can-eat wings.
Yep.
And, and his story was, hey, I told he and my daughter went to school together. He said, I'm just going to the local college here because I'm having to pay my own way through school.
Yeah.
Going to go the first 2 years here, so it's cheaper that I'm gonna not translate. What's it called? Transfer. I'm gonna transfer over to the larger school, an SEC school, and there was no remorse or regret in his voice. He just understood that's the way. Listen, let me tell you something. It's because one of the reasons most kids would say how this is unfair. This is everybody else's school's being paid for. That kid played on teams that never won a ball game his whole high school career.
Yeah,
sports trained him that hey, life is going to be rough. And sometimes I just got to go get the job done without the thrill of victory. It's just because it's what we do. Right. That sports helped train him in that idea. So he knows that, hey, I got to go dig this thing out on my own. Yeah. I just think that those lessons are taught, and we overlook those things in sports sometimes. But we could talk about this all morning.
Well, you could.
I could. Let's move on. Let's see what else. You look a little bored.
No, I'm fine. I'm just letting you go. One more thing from college before unless you got anything.
No, go ahead.
One more thing. So, let's talk a little bit about Frenchie. So, DeAndre Francois, the Florida State quarterback, who was taken out of the season this past season in the first game against Alabama, had a case come against him Tuesday night.
Okay.
Right.
I'm going to stop you right there. He did not have a case come against him.
Okay, you phrase it then.
There was a situation.
But okay, the media, all the sources I ever read about it, where there was this case against him.
Yeah, yes, the media.
Right. So that's important. That's the way it was phrased. It's important because of the outcome too.
Right.
So it was phrased. It was a domestic violence case against DeAndre, and that he had apparently struck his girlfriend, his pregnant girlfriend.
Yes.
On Tuesday night.
Right.
So, come to find out, right, that it was actually he that called the police,
right? Not
her.
Correct.
And it was because they got into an argument, however the argument started, whatever. People have arguments, especially when you date, and especially if you're pregnant. So
I'm going to imagine that the argument probably stemmed from the fact that in the police report that I read, Francois states She said she was pregnant, but I don't believe her.
Yes. So as you can see,
That would probably cause a scuffle.
Yes. So they get into a scuffle. Whatever, an argument. And apparently she went nuts, was starting to break stuff in the house, broke a vase, tried to pull a TV off a wall.
That was the last straw. They were watching ESPN, and she tried to rip the television off the wall. So you can't rip a man's ESPN off the wall.
No, I mean, as garbage as the channel has become,
that would be as
important.
bad as someone's wife right now reaching over and turning off this podcast.
Right. Don't do that. If you're don't do that. So she tries to do that. He kind of bear hugs her to get her out of the house, to get her away from things that she can break.
Yes.
So she starts screaming, says she's going to call the police, ruin him by saying it was domestic violence. That
ripped her own shirt.
Yeah, she had a cut on her arm from apparently breaking the vase. She was going to say that he did that. So he calls the police and says, yo, can you please come get her? This happened. She gives her account of the story. He gives his. I think
there's another person there.
There's another person there. What's his first name? His last name's White. The running back. He's a Florida State running back.
It's Zaquandre.
Yeah, Zaquandre White.
Yeah.
So he was there.
Yeah.
He's hanging out, and he gives his report, the way he saw it, and then it comes out the next day. It was yesterday, wasn't it? So this all happened Tuesday night. Wednesday, we find out Wednesday afternoon that the whole thing's been dropped.
Not dropped. It's just closed and inactive. In other words, there was nothing to drop.
So there were no charges. And it turns out she apparently wasn't even gonna press charges.
No, she told the officer.
She told the officer she was trying to scare him.
I don't want him to get in trouble.
Right.
I just want you to have a talk with him.
Right. So the whole thing's a game from her perspective.
So let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
In the landscape of Me Too.
Yeah.
Not trying to diminish that whatsoever.
Sure.
Are college football players the object of harassment and sexism?
I mean, I think that not just college football players, but I would say rising stars of any.
Yes, because
anybody with a shot to be famous, make a lot of money, be the forefront of a sport or a team, or of any company, or I mean, it could spread to a lot of different areas here. I think because we put so much time into watching sports, because they're so prominent in our culture, that these young guys are getting targeted, and the problem is, you see what happened. Everything worked out for him legally.
Yes. But
the problem is, when the story first broke, everybody reporting on the story said it was a domestic violence case against DeAndre Francois. Before it was proven, before there was evidence.
I'm gonna stop you right there too. And all the story said, Florida State quarterback DeAndre Francois, charged with domestic violence.
Yeah.
Not just Florida State quarterback DeAndre Francois.
Because that matters.
Because it does matter.
It's a national.
To the media, it matters. But not only, I don't even think it's that, because, we do hear about Alabama players. Mm-hmm. We do hear about those things. We see Georgia players in the national media. But this goes way back to Lavernius Coles and those guys that stole those shoes. Mm-hmm. From, I don't know, Belk, J.C. Penney, wherever it was.
Yeah.
And but here's the thing. Did they take the shoes? Yes. Was it wrong? Yes. There was a person working at the store that walked up to them and said, hey, do you guys want free shoes? They didn't just go in and rip the shoes off the shelf, steal the right shoe, and hope they were going to put the left shoe up on the shelf so they could come back the next day and get it.
Right.
So, Free Shoes University. And Florida State's labeled a bunch of thugs. Our little sister, just across the state, has a serial killer that played for them.
Yeah.
I mean, So they go to Connecticut and find the only thug in the state of Connecticut and bring him to the University of Florida to play tight end, Aaron Hernandez.
Yep.
They imported the only thug in the entire state to play for, but yet Florida State is the black eye of college football. Then you've got Jameis Winston, who I'm going to be honest with you, great quarterback, moron.
Funny,
off
though.
the field.
He's funny to watch.
He's funny. Yeah, he's funny.
Listen to.
And listen,
great.
people love him.
Oh, yeah.
He did some things that he shouldn't have done.
Oh, of course.
But the big thing he didn't do. Now, so then you've got DeAndre Johnson, who hits the girl. Wrong. Kicked out of school.
Yeah.
Then you've got Dalvin Cook.
Yep.
Everybody says, needs to be kicked out of school, needs to be kicked out of school, only to find out he didn't.
Right. Didn't do anything.
He didn't do anything.
Yes.
DeAndre didn't do anything, but yet it's a story.
Yep.
It's a story because it's a Florida State quarterback. Listen, there's just as many kids that do stupid things at other universities.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Mark Schlabach has a vendetta against Florida State.
See, you take it more conspiracy than I do. I don't think it. I mean, there is some truth to what you're saying. Absolutely. Because
do you know why we have, and the Tallahassee Police Department gets a huge, I mean, a huge amount of grief.
Yeah, they do. I know.
But here's the difference between the Tallahassee Police Department and the Tuscaloosa Police Department is the fact that they freaking arrest people in Tallahassee. In Tuscaloosa, they catch somebody, a football player, smoking pot driving down the road. They open up the trunk and give them another dime bag.
I mean, to be fair, though, what else can you do in Tuscaloosa?
I don't know.
Exactly.
We better move on, though.
Yeah, let's move on. I just thought it was interesting to bring up.
The biggest thing in sports today, the biggest thing happening in sports, the sports world right now, at 1:40 today,
yeah,
Tiger Woods tees off on his pursuit of another Masters championship. Now, I'm not saying the Masters is not today.
Right.
But he's already said, listen, I hadn't played golf in a while. I'm not expecting to win this tournament. I'm going to go out. I'm going to get some, and here's the big thing, competition reps.
Yep.
Reps under the pressure of competition. But my sights are on the Masters. So at 1:40 today, he tees off. Patrick Reed's in the group with him. It's going to be great. He's won this tournament 7 times in his career.
Tiger.
Some of his greatest moments have come on this golf course.
Yeah.
At this tournament. So Tiger's teeing off today. Huge moment in sports. Can he come back? Can he be competitive? Can he win again? Can he get another major?
Right.
Is the question. At this point, huge Tiger Woods fan. Tiger Woods revolutionized the game of golf.
Yeah.
The reason we have the athletes playing golf today that we have is because of Tiger Woods.
Okay.
If Tiger Woods doesn't come on the scene, Ricky Fowler is racing pro motocross. Dustin Johnson's probably playing professional baseball.
Sure.
Those guys are doing those. I mean, major athletes. They're doing something else. Jason Day's probably pumping gas in Australia. I mean, they're probably doing something else because the sport was not drawing the major athletes.
You give all these other guys like great alternatives. You get Jason Day pumping gas in Australia.
I don't know that he had another professional sports alternative. These other guys were on paths to do other sports.
Surely he could do other things than pump gas, though.
Okay, a bank teller.
That's a little bit better.
Okay, a guide on kangaroo hunts.
No, that's serious.
Yeah,
that's another sport in itself.
Yeah, we're going to get there.
Okay.
We're going to get there today.
Okay.
So Tiger Woods revolutionizes the game. But I don't believe that he's gonna. I don't believe he's gonna.
He's not gonna do it. He's gonna get another major.
I think he's gonna get one more,
but not the Masters.
But I don't think he's gonna break the major record. I don't think he can get 5 more.
Yeah.
I don't think he can do it.
It's tough.
Yeah.
What he's trying to do is tough.
Oh, yeah. Coming that game with the torque, coming back from back surgery is tough.
Sure.
Coming back from, at his age, even tougher. But on top of that, any golfer with back surgery would be tough.
Oh, yeah.
But the game that he has always played, the athletic, violent, explosive golf game that he's always played, can he transform his game to be able to stay healthy for 4 majors?
Right.
He's going to have to play a different game of golf, and can he change and shape himself into that to be effective? I don't know the answer to that, but I don't think he's going to get.
There's so much talent out there now. I mean, there's always been a lot of talent on the golf course, but I guess you just see it. You were talking about those younger guys who play that kind of more explosive kind of golf game.
When Tiger
it's tough to come back to. He used to be the only guy doing it.
Yeah, when Tiger
and now he's
was
coming
playing,
into the whole field.
The only guy as long or longer than Tiger was John Daly.
Yeah,
and he couldn't stay sober long enough to actually
John
score.
Daly's a superhero, though. That's different.
So, absolutely, country music legend.
Yeah, I mean, he did it all.
So, but now Tiger, he's got 15, 18 guys.
Yeah,
hitting the ball as far as him. You've got little guys. Ricky Fowler's hitting the ball as far as Tiger.
Yeah.
Not only is Ricky hitting it that far, last year he led the tour in putting, something that Tiger also did, and he can't putt to save his life now.
Right.
So, it'll be interesting. But anyway, today, his comeback, his pursuit.
At 1:40 p.m.
1:40 p.m.
Is that Eastern time?
So the answer to your question is, will I be here? I just changed maybe the response to that. I don't know. Depends on whether I can find golf on my laptop or not.
I see.
So, yeah. But anyway. So, what else you got, Clay?
Well, the Super Bowl is coming up.
I knew we were going to have to talk about that.
We are. But before we get to the Super Bowl, we have the Pro Bowl. Okay? Now, the Pro Bowl is on TV. We're going to watch it on Sunday.
It's this Sunday?
It's this Sunday. Okay?
What time?
That's a good question. I'm not sure what time. But I know it's this Sunday.
What time's the Super Bowl come on?
Beats me. I really haven't looked. I'm just not worried about it. It's a whole day thing for me. We'll get out of church, go get some snacks, just pile up and watch the pregame. I like to watch the pregame. I watch all day stuff. I watch the Pro Bowl all day. Anyway, Pro Bowl's coming up. But listen, here's the thing. So, Pro Bowl used to mean a little bit more than it does now, I think.
I guess. Is it still in Hawaii?
Is it in Hawaii?
Pro Bowl used to be in Hawaii, I think.
Well, the thing that's changed about it is there are 88 slots, right, to be in the Pro Bowl, but the NFL has extended 125 invites.
Right.
So you got to cover some. I get it, because injuries,
people
illness,
that are in the Super Bowl,
doing other things, whatever. You got to cover it, but pretty much they've overdone it to the point where the Pro Bowl really doesn't mean as much. The argument is that the 125 is too many. Is it exclusive? Is it really an honor if there are that many guys being put into it?
Well, okay, here's the thing. I think an active NFL roster is 53 or 55.
Mm-hmm.
So if you just take 2 full teams, that's 106 to 110.
Mm-hmm.
So then you extend an additional 15 for people that are playing in the Super Bowl or injured, or that just say, hey, my season's over. I'm not doing this crap. I have no bonus in my contract to play in the Pro Bowl, so I'm going to sit at home on the couch with my family.
Yeah.
So if you look at it from that standpoint, it's not that many. But they're not taking full teams in the Pro Bowl.
Right.
Because it's not a real football game.
Well, and that's a lot of NFL players feel that way, and they don't want to go.
I don't think you can block a field goal or extra point. I don't think you can rush the punter. Yeah,
I guess it's kind of like the Senior Bowl too. It's like how do you show off the incredible athleticism and skill and talent that these guys have going to this postseason commemorative game?
You want me to tell you how you do it?
If you can't play the game.
All right, this Pro Bowl this year, okay, you divide it AFC, NFC,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
This playoff this year will determine where the Super Bowl is played next year and allow the home team to start with a 3-0 advantage in the game.
Okay. So
The
that's
NFC
how you say it would make it interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
NFC wins the game. Okay? That means whoever goes to the Super Bowl from the NFC gets to play at home
Yeah.
and start with a 3-0, 3-0 lead.
So they start with a field goal.
They start with a field goal.
That is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I bet people would go play in that game.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
The Cleveland Browns have no stake in it. But let's face it, they're not going to have enough players on the field to really determine the outcome anyway.
Yeah.
You think Jalen Ramsey's not going to play harder in the game because if he makes it to the Super Bowl next year, he's going to have a lead?
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah. Speaking of Jalen,
I
of
think
the
they
Jags,
should, and I think what they should also do for the Pro Bowl, you couldn't do it on just the normal channel, but they should have like one of those things, like for the national championship game where they had the coaches sitting in a room, talking about the game.
Yeah, the coaches room.
They should have like the explicit channel, and they should mic these players up so we can hear the trash talk if we want to hear that.
Yeah, that would be great. I think it'd be incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, but speaking
And
of
just have little squares with every player that's on the field at the time, all of them mic'd up, and you hear all the audio at one time.
oh my gosh, that would be a terrible experience.
It would be multi-sensory.
It would be horrible to watch. Well, listen to. Speaking of that, though, speaking of the Super Bowl, the Jags, disappointingly, were unable to defeat the Patriots and the refs. The Eagles just destroyed the Vikings.
You know how we had Deflategate?
Yeah.
I think this year somebody should look into Stripegate.
Stripegate.
Yeah, because I believe there was some referees doing some favors for Tom Brady.
It's just crazy that the Patriots had one penalty all game on neither offense or defense.
Let me say something here. Let me say something that's going to just really entertain our audience.
Okay.
The reason the Patriots only had one penalty in the game is because the Patriots would never do anything against the rules that would be considered cheating.
Well, right. I mean, they're the most clean and upstanding group of guys, and nothing bad has ever come out of there, right? Nothing bad has ever happened. No one's ever been suspended for 4 games.
Nobody's ever let the air out of footballs. Nobody's ever filmed the play calling with a lip reader.
I mean,
nobody's ever filmed the practices of the other team. Nobody has ever listened in on the headsets of the opposing coaches.
Man. One penalty on special teams. 10 yards. Ridiculous. Anyway.
You've heard the old saying, it doesn't matter who wins or loses, it's how you play the game.
Mm-hmm.
I think Belichick got that wrong. I think he says, it doesn't matter how you play the game as long as you win.
Yeah, probably. That seems like a philosophy he would have on his wall.
Yeah. But if he wanted to come to FSU, I'd take him as the head coach.
Yeah, I bet you would. I bet. So it's the Eagles and the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Apparently, if you're a Pizza Hut rewards member, you get a free pizza if someone scores within 14 seconds of kickoff. That's the current record. So Pizza Hut is like, yo, if somebody scores a touchdown within the first 14 seconds of the game, everybody who's a member of the rewards program gets a free pizza in the nation.
So if the Patriots and the Eagles really love their fans,
They will score immediately.
No, listen. What's going to happen is whoever wins the coin toss, okay?
Mm-hmm.
They kick it short and lay down on the field.
Do it for the pizza.
Okay, but here you're like, oh no, that's going to put them down. I mean, they're gonna, they're going to be behind. They're going to lose. Okay, the next kickoff, which is going to be from the team that ran it back and scored and won everybody a pizza, returns the favor.
So it ends up being 7-7.
So we're 19 seconds into the game,
Tied up.
It's tied up 7-7. Then the game can start.
That's a good idea. That would be good for everybody.
Except Pizza Hut.
Yeah, can you imagine? It's only a medium pizza, but every member, I don't know how many rewards members they have, but that's a lot of people, for sure. But anyway, that's just a little aside about Pizza Hut. Here's the thing. Eagles, Patriots, right?
Yep.
The Eagles defensive lineman Fletcher Cox has never watched the Super Bowl on television.
Really?
In his life. He's just never watched the Super Bowl.
And this year will not change that.
Nope. He's going to go play in it and not watch it.
Right.
Isn't that just crazy? I just thought it was ridiculous.
Well, I mean, you got to figure in his NFL career, he's probably like, man, I'm so over football. Probably his whole life.
Sure, playing all the time.
Yeah, I mean, he's like, I'm just over it.
Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe he's a religious man. Maybe he's in church.
I mean, but it doesn't happen in the morning.
People still go to church at night.
Go in the morning.
Some people go all day.
I realize that. I don't think that's the case.
I bet he attended a church that went all day.
You think?
Yeah.
And he just years and years, never got to watch one.
Yeah, because God was more important.
That's a pretty high opinion of Fletcher Cox.
I think we should move our church service over the top of the Super Bowl just to see where people's
I mean, most
real
of our people
devotion.
would probably show up because
Their teams have already been eliminated.
right. I mean, they would definitely show up had it been Patriots, Saints.
Yes.
People would have flooded into churches.
Yes, to
around
pray
here.
for the Saints not only to be beaten, but destroyed.
But also, they would pray for the Saints not only to be beaten, but also for the Patriots to be beaten at the same time.
Both
There would
teams
be
disqualified.
No loser. Yes. There'll be no winner in the Super Bowl if that was
Only two
Patriots.
losers.
Yep. And that would go down as the worst game in history.
Yes.
I hope it's a good game regardless.
Yeah, I'm not going to
Now.
watch it.
I'll watch it. But
Here we are, someone on a sports podcast saying, I'm not going to watch the Super Bowl.
Just out. But someone's watching it, and someone has bet multiple millions of dollars.
Yes.
Do you see that?
Yeah.
Multiple millions of dollars on the Eagles to win. And it's something like it's not the largest ever, but it's one of the largest wagers in Super Bowl history.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine betting multiple millions of dollars on a football game. Like I bet a guy a soda
Because, okay,
on a
here's the
football
thing.
game, and I was devastated when I lost.
Because you don't have the money to imagine that.
But who has millions to bet?
Bezos.
Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
Did you see that picture of him in his office from like back when Amazon started?
No.
It was the most depressing picture I've ever seen. It was just like a dark, like little corner room.
Like my office.
No, like darker than that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Oh.
Anyway, betting multiple millions of dollars on the Super Bowl, especially against the Patriots, when they have everything going for them as far as, one penalty. They might get one. You think they even get one?
Will they have
What
Gronk?
if they get no penalties?
Will Gronk be back?
Will he be back? I mean, so they confirmed yesterday it is a concussion.
Yes.
I don't know. I mean, Gronk's he's like a glass tank.
Yes.
Like he runs into battle, he makes good things happen, and then he gets hurt pretty much all the time.
Yeah. Well, he's a big target.
Yeah, I mean, he's giant. He's that way at Arizona, too, though.
I mean, Jalen tried to break him in half on one play.
With good reason.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. But
I mean, Jalen, hits him, just waylays him. As Gronk is getting up, I'm sure Jalen is standing over the top of him saying, "Man, you're a great ball player. Hope I can get your autograph after the game.
Yeah.
Let's be buddies and go to dinner." I'm sure that's what he was saying.
that sounds like a Jalen Ramsey quote right there.
Yeah.
I'm sure it didn't have any explicatives.
Do we have to talk about the Super Bowl anymore? You got anything else about the Super Bowl?
Do I? Yes, I do, and you're going to like this one.
Okay.
This is the last one for the Super Bowl, so if you're listening just for Super Bowl content, this is the last one and the most important one.
You can hang up and go to the Patreon.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
You're going to love it.
I'm ready.
You actually are going to love it. Potentially hazardous asteroid to pass by Earth on Super Bowl Sunday during the Super Bowl. Well, not during, but right before it. Around 4:30 on Sunday, 2 hours before the Patriots and Eagles kick off, potentially hazardous asteroid will whiz by the Earth at 76,000 miles per hour.
Is it?
It will be 2.6 million miles from Earth when it passes, which is like 10 times as far away as the moon. But apparently, when it comes to asteroids, that's close enough to be potentially hazardous. I don't know much about.
Is it Planet X?
I don't think it's Planet. It's called.
Is the Lord riding on it?
He's with a lasso just flying by. No, it's dubbed 2002 AJ 129.
Oh, you didn't tell me it was 2002 AJ 129.
Now you're interested.
Now I'm interested. Yep. Liz, you got to get within 1 million miles, I think, for me to really have my attention turned towards you. Could cause an EMP, but I'm prepared.
It is all an asteroid has to do to be called potentially hazardous is be wider than 500 meters, which this one is. It's a third of a mile across, and pass within 4.65 million miles of Earth.
Well, there you have it.
So it's going to happen. So it has no chance of colliding, but it's potentially hazardous. I just thought you like space.
Yeah, I like space.
You like stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there it is. That's the end of Super Bowl news.
All right, let me quickly hit this.
Sure.
Baseball Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
We had 4 inductees. Mm-hmm. Chipper Jones,
yes,
went in on the first ballot.
That one's great. That's totally deserved.
Yeah. Jim Thome, first ballot. Mm-hmm. Vlad Guerrero,
yep,
not first ballot, but he's in. Trevor Hoffman is in. Mm-hmm. So those 4, they're in the Hall of Fame. Chipper Jones drew 97.2% of the vote.
That's incredible.
One of the highest vote totals ever.
Yeah,
for Chipper Jones.
It was never a question in my mind that.
No,
I mean,
no,
he
but
was,
that's
he was going.
Yeah, but that's incredible.
That isn't. I didn't know that was the percentage.
Chipper Jones said it was waterworks. He said he just cried. Now listen, I've seen Chipper a couple of times, just out and about. Well,
Yeah.
no, I'm going to take that back. Not out and about. Like we don't hang out. Both times, FedEx Cup championship.
Yeah,
down at East Lake. Mm-hmm. As far as I know, he lives in an inebriated state his entire life. He didn't even know where he was. They had to carry him into the tent, the VIP tent, because he couldn't find it, and he was standing 12 yards from it.
Oh my gosh,
it was crazy.
But
Chipper
crazy.
Jones makes it in. Here's the interesting thing, though. Okay,
yeah,
Roger Clemens, Barry Bonds, both caught up in the whole performance-enhancing drug scandal.
Right.
Roger, 57.3% of the vote. Got to have 75% to be inducted. 57.3%. Barry Bonds, 56.4%.
Yeah.
Staggeringly high for someone, especially when a Hall of Fame member sent out a letter and said, please do not consider anyone caught up in the performance-enhancing drug scandal.
Right.
But yet, next year, Clemens and Bonds are both going into the Hall.
Really?
I'm calling it right now. They're going to get the votes next year, and they're going to make the Hall of Fame.
Really? You think so?
I think so. Well, here's the thing. Why do you put an asterisk by Barry Bonds' name for using performance-enhancing drugs as a hitter when he was playing against Roger Clemens, who was using performance-enhancing drugs as a pitcher?
That's a
Don't
good
they
point.
cancel each other out?
At a certain point, yeah, you think so.
Yeah, absolutely they do.
You think so?
So,
Well, that'd
yeah,
be cool. I mean,
I think they both deserve to be in.
yeah, great athletes.
You tell you who else I believe deserves to be in the Hall of Fame?
Tell me.
Pete Rose.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Pete Rose deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. He didn't use performance-enhancing drugs. He did bet on baseball. But I guarantee you, knowing Pete Rose and his character, he never bet on his team to lose.
Right.
So if you don't bet on your team to lose, if you bet on your team to win, are you going to do something different?
No, you're going to play to win regardless.
You're gonna play to win regardless. So
what
if
a
you're
silly thing. That's even sillier than the...
Oh, guys, you know what? I wasn't going to win this game, but since I put some money on it,
We're going to win.
we're going to win.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I never thought about it that way.
I'm actually going to put a pinch hitter in right here. If I don't have money on this game, if I didn't have money on this game, I wouldn't put a pinch hitter in.
no,
I
you're
just
playing to win regardless.
pack it in, go to the clubhouse, take a shower,
Seriously.
eat some noodles. For some reason, Pete Rose just always struck me as a guy that always ate a bowl of not like spaghetti,
But like
just noodles with butter and salt.
macaroni noodles?
No, spaghetti noodles.
Oh, just the spaghetti noodles, but with no sauce.
No sauce,
Just
just butter and salt. Yeah.
That's funny. You
Yeah.
probably did.
In his sitting in his locker.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why. Yeah. Okay. So then we've got this clown Larry Nasser.
Yeah.
144 women came out to speak against him in closing. Here's the Michigan State president.
That's so many people.
Yeah, Lou Anna Simon stepped down as president
Okay.
at Michigan State.
Yeah.
Listen, people enabled him to do this. People knew about this behavior.
Oh, absolutely.
And protected him.
Absolutely.
From USA Gymnastics to Michigan State, lots of people enabled him and protected him. Here's something, though, that was just absolutely amazing. One of the victims who testified against him has still been receiving a bill. Okay, they're still being billed, and it is accruing interest for the visit in which she was sexually assaulted.
Oh my gosh.
So
This
then,
stuff it's never shallow, is it? It always runs.
oh yeah. So Michigan
deep.
State came out and said, "Hey, if you were a patient of his and you owe money, we're just going to cancel that."
Yeah.
Why would she need to say something in order for them to make that decision?
Right. That should have been like the first thing they do.
We're going to charge you $312 to be sexually assaulted, is basically what Michigan State was saying. Yeah, this guy, he's going to be sentenced, he's going to serve at least 40 years, as much as 175 years.
Yeah.
The victims have asked, let your last deed be something that actually helps people, and name the people that helped you cover this up. Because he gets to speak.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, finally help somebody.
Yeah. Do you think he'll do it?
I don't know, because a lot of the ladies took the stand and didn't actually mention him. Only the people that helped enable him and call them out by name.
Oh, I see.
So they took it as a platform to address the whole thing.
Right. Yeah.
So now they're asking him to point fingers.
Wow.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think that goes down today.
Is that today?
I think he will speak today.
Oh, wow.
All right. Have you got anything else?
Not in particular.
Okay, because I've got something I want us to.
You said you had a new segment you wanted to try.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to call this questionable sports.
Okay.
All right, and I'm going to list some things, and
Okay.
you tell me whether they're really a sport or not.
Okay. Yeah, I like this.
All right. Yeah.
This sounds good. Sounds like fun.
Okay.
So if anybody's left to listen to it, this might be the most fun part of the show.
Right. I know. You should go ahead and hit social media and tell everybody, hey, you need to get back on. We're doing questionable sports.
Questionable sports happening now.
Okay. So,
yeah.
Dog racing.
Yeah, it's a sport. Dog racing? Yeah.
Why is it a sport? There's no people involved.
Okay, so a sport has to be people, has to be humans.
Okay, listen. Let me read you. Let me read you the criteria for a sport. Okay.
Yeah, that would be. You should have read that first.
A human activity involving physical skill and exertion, governed by a set of rules or customs, undertaken competitively and capable of achieving a result.
Okay.
So
see,
by
why
this,
didn't you read the definition first?
By that definition, Little League sports are not sports.
Because there's no result.
Right. Anyway, okay, I'm off that soapbox. Okay, dog racing.
Okay, so dog racing is not a sport.
Okay, disc golf.
Yes.
Bullfighting.
Yeah.
Sheepdog trials.
No.
Hunting.
Yes.
Fishing.
Yes.
Horse racing.
Yes.
Why?
There's a jockey. He's riding the horse.
Do you think he's actually what makes the horse go faster?
I think he has something to do with it.
I think if you line those horses up,
they just run anyway.
You open those gates and you just shot them in the butt with like a shotgun shell filled with salt, they're going to run just as fast.
No, I think the jockey has something to do with it. It's a human element there.
Rodeo.
Yeah.
Camel racing.
Do people ride the camels?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Poker.
Yikes. The definition said physical exertion, right?
Yeah.
I guess you're exerting mentally. Right?
I'm asking you. You can't. This is my segment. You have to answer.
Man, I'm gonna go with yes.
Chess.
If poker is, chess has to be, I guess.
NASCAR.
Yes. That junk's hard, dude.
Video games. Now,
actually, this is a story I must have accidentally deleted out of my Safari because there's a new league. I don't know if you know this. There's a new league called the Overwatch League. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's a new esport league.
Yeah.
All right, the game Overwatch is a online multiplayer shooter.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Okay. Well, it's a big deal now because this is the first time an esport league has ever been set up the way ESPN is, with coverage, with teams from different cities, with logos, with commentators. I mean, it's a whole new thing. They're filming it. You can watch the games and the matches happen live. You can buy jerseys. You can buy hats. You can buy all the things for your favorite team. Overwatch League has become really big, really fast. So when I think about are video games a sport, that's the first thing that comes to mind. And I know esports have been going on for a long time. A long time, like 2006 or 7, which is a fairly long time. It's over 10 years. When I think about esports as a real sport, though, I mean, I guess if you consider poker and chess, it's kind of the same sort of mental exertion. You're using your brain, your mind. And I mean, you're using your body too, but you're not using it like football or basketball I don't know. But you are achieving a result. There's a clear winner. There's a clear loser. Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. I guess I'm gonna say yes, Chief. I think if we put poker in, we put chess in, we got to put video games in.
Curling.
Yes. It is. It's probably more of a sport than video games.
Last one. Cheerleading.
No. There's no result.
What about cheer competition?
There's lots of competitions with, I guess, competitive cheering is a sport.
What is the toughest sport to play on the planet?
I'm gonna say, does it have to be a team? It doesn't have to be a team sport, right? Just any sport.
Any sport, yeah.
I don't know. I want to say basketball for some reason.
Really?
Maybe soccer. I mean, you run constantly.
I'm going to say water polo.
You do have to swim constantly in water polo, don't you?
Yeah.
That is pretty tough.
People pushing you underwater. And yeah. I'm going to say water polo. That's all I got from this thing.
I'm going to say kangaroo tour guide.
Kangaroo tour guide. There you go, Jason Day.
Whatever. Jay, he probably doesn't even like kangaroos or something. He probably
that was just very stereotypical when I said
No, what
that.
I was saying, though, when you were silent for that portion is the Overwatch League is a big deal. I'm going to show it to you after the show because
okay.
I just want you to see it.
Yeah, I don't want to see it, but okay.
No, you need to see it because it's ridiculous. They have people come into this. They built an arena for it, and they come watch people play the video game on a screen. Anyway, I'm just saying, if chess is a sport, if poker is a sport, video games are a sport.
Yeah, I don't think any of them are. So
you do get a result.
I don't think NASCAR is.
Dude, okay, but NASCAR is you literally use your body.
I don't think bowling is.
Oh my! Yes, it is. How is it not?
I'm just saying I don't think.
Tell us what you think. If you're still listening to Third and Long, we appreciate you. And we hope that you would get involved in this debate and tell us what is a sport and what isn't a sport.
And what is the toughest sport to
What's
play?
the hardest sport on planet Earth? We love to know your opinions. We always love for you to join the conversation. We thank you for listening. Remember, you can catch us weekly now. Weekly. Still every week, every Tuesday, 4 p.m. live. Third Thoughts. All things current events, news, controversies. You can catch us there Tuesday on Spreaker, 4 p.m. Third and Long is going to an event-based schedule, so when there's a lot of news, we'll have a show and we'll announce it for you, but it will not be every Wednesday morning until college football kicks back off in the fall. Guys, thanks so much for listening. We will see you next time. We're out.